So today I'll be talking about a new movie that I saw on YouTube titled To Be a Friend. This is a story that was written by Bimbo Ademoye. You guys might remember her. So she was in Anikolakbo with with her co-star Kunle Remi. She did a great job. The Arulake Rollercoaster, I think her name was in that movie. So she wrote the screen. She wrote this. She also did the screenplay, and with her and two other people. And it is directed by great Val Edochie and was produced by Grace Onya. It's currently streaming on Bimbo Ademoye's YouTube channel. So please check it out. So I'm going to say something straight away. This review is going to contain spoilers. So, if you don't like spoilers, you can check out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you guys still here? Okay, so let's get into it. So, Bimbo Ademoye's character in this film is called Folashade, and Kunle Remi's character in this film is called Tunde. And Deyemi Okanlawon's character is called Tega, and Uzor's character is called Rugged. That's Uzor Arukwe, who everybody might know as Udugu Parara. His character is called Rugged. So let's get into it. So three of them went to the same university, an unnamed university. So Folashade, Tunde, and Tega attended university together. Tega was attracted to and had a huge crush on Folashade. But in the beginning, he didn't really make his intentions known. It's one of those where you have a crush on someone, but you don't make your intentions known. Folashade actually now fancied Tunde instead. So Tunde was the suave, popular guy, ladies' man, played football, was popular. Whereas Tega, who is Deyemi Okanlawon's character, was more of like the nerdy guy, did well in school, but it didn't really get the attraction or the attention that his friend Tega got. So I must point out something. So Tega was really helped by Tunde. So Tunde had money or came from money. Tega didn't appear to come from money, and he was constantly helping Tega. Tega had financial problems, was owing somebody at some point, and X, Y, and Z. Tunde was a bit of a megalomaniac, and he seemed to always get what he wanted. There was a scene where he was trying to get Tega to take off the shirt off his back because he wanted. And there was another scene where somebody came to meet him at the canteens and was upset with him because Tunde had a bet and slept with that one's girlfriend. So it gave you a little bit of insight into Tunde's character. Anyway, many years passed on, 10 years to be exact, and we're taken through a tunnel of happenings via voiceover from Tega's point of view. We see Tega in prison. So what happened? So there's a flashback as to how he got there. I'm not going to take you through every single part that happened in the movie. But this film is about betrayal. This To Be a Friend is about betrayal. It's about a little bit about love, but it's really to do with betrayal and how sometimes things in the past need to stay in the past. The cast, for me, first and foremost, the cast was good. In terms of Uzor, who was a surprise in his role as Rugged.
My friendship with Rugged grew even stronger. I always look forward to spending time with him during pen or labor.
Deyemi was cast well. I liked the casting of Bimbo Ademoye. I also liked the casting of Kunle Remi as well. So in terms of casting, I will give it a 9 out of 10. And the reason why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 is because the person who played the younger part of Kunle Remi is actually Kunle Remi's younger brother in real life, Peace Remi. When you watch the film, you see what I mean. There was a startling resemblance, and Nollywood films don't usually get it that well, but they got this one. They nailed this one very well. The other guy who played Deyemi's younger brother didn't look exactly like Deyemi, but kind of like passable, still tall, still dark skinned. But the Kunle Remi and Peace Remi resemblance and voice, might I add, was uncanny. And when I found out that both of them were brothers, it kind of like made sense. I was like, so that's how they were able to do that. So let's get to plot. It's not new. It's not new. The plot was not new. I think Gone Girls has a similar plot line. So really, it was just a classic tale of betrayal between two friends. And like I said earlier, there was betrayal at the end. But before I get to the point of betrayal at the end, let me talk a little bit about the other characters. So I've talked about Tunde. Tega's character didn't come from money, was sort of like a number two man to Tunde. So there was a scene in the beginning where Tunde was talking about what they were going to do when they finished university, and he said he was going to set up a business, and he was going to be the CEO of this IT solutions business, and I was going to make Tega the COO. So fast forward to a decade later, we see Tega as the CEO of a thriving IT business, and he's doing well. He's looking for Tega. Where's Tega? And we find out that he's been trying to locate Tega. Eventually finds Tega. Tega is in a position where Tunde, is in a position where life hasn't been so good to him. To cut the long story short, he cleans Tunde up. He gives him a role as the COO. Now, don't forget that that's what I said earlier, that Tunde was supposed to be the CEO and Tega the COO. Now Tega is the CEO and he's bringing Tunde in as the COO. But then this happened just 3 weeks after he found Tunde. After he found Tunde, he gives him the job of a COO. You don't know what this guy's been doing for the last 10 years. Yes, he told you life has been horrible to him, but you let him in so quickly. So, but for me, the motivation there was because this guy was there for him in uni, so he was trying to repay the favor. Anyway, it brings him in, but there were some loopholes. For example, so one of the loopholes I had was towards the movie when Fola, that's Bimbo Ademoye's character, said she was about 6 weeks pregnant. Next, we see 9 months later on the screen. So that wasn't really adding up for me. Okay, maybe she had a 40 weeks gestational period. That part was a bit rushed off. They could have shown maybe another part of the belly growing, and then maybe they just wanted to save time. I don't know. Another thing I wanted to mention is that their child, Abidemi. So I'm jumping ahead of myself. So actually, Tega now met Fola, who he had a crush on back in uni. He met her when he went to the airport to pick one of his clients, and they fell in love and eventually married. And they had a child called Abidemi. So their child, Abidemi, was still looking like a 1 or 2 year old during the couple's 5-year wedding anniversary. So that casting was terrible. So why didn't he just get maybe a 4-year-old? And then 2 years after that, making 7 years in total, we see Abidemi still looking almost the same. So they could have gotten a different child actor just to show the different the variation in age. If you're going to be talking about 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, so that part wasn't good for me. Also, the movie starts with like a flashback 15 years back, and then we see how the friends turn out in 10 years in that time. Then there's a 5-year anniversary celebration. After that, someone says they've been in jail for 2 years. So isn't this supposed to sum up to 17 years altogether? So there's some mathematics going there that was not quite right with the in terms of the pacing and the plot for me. What did I like about it? I liked Uzor Arukwe's performance as Rugged.
Okay, that's fine now. What's me up?
I do.
Rugged. Okay, what's wrong?
I do.
What, you did cry?
I'm sorry, Kai. You don't blend, Abby. Before when you come here na so big grammar I just the truth. Now your mouth don't sharp.
It was fantastic, and he was able to have this on-screen chemistry with Kunle Remi that worked. So Kunle Remi was not actually in jail, like I said in the beginning. He found himself in jail, and it was doing a flashback to recite as to how he got himself into jail. So how did he get himself into jail? 5 years into their marriage, he had a wedding anniversary. On the night of that wedding anniversary, he found himself unconscious, and he was arrested for the murder of Fola. So we found out that Fola was murdered, only that there was no body found. So the basis of the arrest, was it for a missing person? We didn't see. I didn't like the police scene. I didn't like the interrogation scene. I didn't like the fact that there was no lawyer that came to see him periodically, although his friend Tega came to see him, who later betrayed him. But I didn't like that part. That part wasn't just tidy. And Tunde also had ulterior motives, yet he released 14 million naira for charity at the request from Tega. Okay, Tega's company was doing well, yet he couldn't afford, neither did we see, like I said, any quality lawyer representing him to at least press for a trial. So that part didn't really add up for me. So you're willing to release 14 million naira for Rugged to use it to pay for his child's medical treatment, but we didn't see any of your lawyers coming to see you. The only people we saw come to see him in prison was Tunde and one of his subordinates that works at work. So that's the part that I didn't really like. I liked the voiceover. The voiceover was good. I also liked the fact that at the end of the day, I think the right thing happened at the end of the day. And in terms of at the end of the film, I'll say they got justice. But to go straight to the point, I felt that Tunde's character was the most heinous. Tega had the best heart, but he was naive. Fola's character, I think she was a bit too believing, and she probably, in hindsight, probably didn't love her husband as much as she thought. There was some conflicting as well. I didn't really get the conflict. So in the beginning, one time in the scene in the movie where she was trying to tell him that she was pregnant, she said this is the life she signed up for when he came back late. But we don't see a lot of series of disappointments. Next thing we see is almost one small scene where they were arguing, but then we just had the big bus stop on the wedding anniversary that led to him getting unconscious. And then we find out that Bimbo's character is Fola, and Tunde planned to set up Tega so they could take his business. So Tega's business was taken from him by Tunde, and his wife was taken from him, and his child was taken from him. So I don't want to give every single thing away, but something happened in prison where they were able to get out, and at the end of the day, we found out that towards the end, Fola and Tunde were arrested for setting Tega up. So for me, this film, I'll probably give it a 7. There were some plot holes I didn't like, but the casting was quite good. The storyline was, yeah, it was patchy. So I'll say the storyline was patchy in some areas. I liked the acting. The acting was quite good. Yeah, so pretty much that's my review. Watch this film if you can on Netflix. It's a must watch. The production was also good. And yeah, the frenemy, as some people say, is real. It's very, very real. Somebody you haven't kept in touch with for 10 years, don't expect them to be the same. People do envy people in real life. It's not just a movie. And people can set you up for any reason. So that's my review. I hope you liked it. Leave your comments in the comment section. Did you like this movie? Have you seen it? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree with my review? It doesn't matter. Just put your own comments down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.